With each approach, the guy tried a new phrase, and if he refused, he didn't blush, didn't lose his mood, and immediately went to the next girl. With misunderstanding, the main character looks at the phone and asks what they are talking about. It turns out that Jeffrey wrote an article on the internet about this case. John carefully examines the article and the site on which it is written to find at least one mention of it. Having found no information, he exhales noisily and says that the journalist did not have any information about him. After that, the guy gives the phone to his friend and says that he has nothing to do with it, because the name is not written and there is no photograph. The main character feignedly looks to the side and pretends that he knows nothing about this situation. Noodles smiles widely and asks if he wants to say that it's just a coincidence because you can't mark the facts that he sent 100 declarations of love. John breaks out in a cold sweat because he was declassified, which he did not really want. If Noodles guessed it, then the rest of my classmates will also understand what's what. A friend calms him down by saying that even if it was him, he has already explained everything and made amends financially. He scrolls through comment after comment on his phone and says people are very insensitive. John turns to him, trying to find out what he means. Noodles hides his gadget behind his back and pretends that nothing happened. In order to distract from the current situation, the guy offers to play a mobile game. The main character notes that it would be more interesting for him to watch anime. His friend agrees with him. The clock shows 5:30 in the morning. It is still completely dark outside and most people are in their beds. All night, John read angry comments from people under this article. Many people insulted him. Out of resentment, he closes his eyes, trying to calm down and not think about bad things. He understands that it all comes down to just one thing, namely the guy's excess weight. Getting out of bed, the main character realizes that he does not want to continue giving people a reason to make fun of him. First of all, he goes to the bathroom, coats his toothbrush with toothpaste and starts brushing his teeth. After that, he puts on his shoes and puts on his gray windbreaker, most likely planning to head outside. The main character ties a red ribbon on his head and announces that he plans to lose weight. He immediately noisily throws all the most delicious foods, soda, marmalade, chips into the trash can. His friend wakes up from the roar, opens one eye and tries to understand what happened. The friend gets up and asks where his neighbor went because it's still dark outside. John replies that he's going to run. Noodles assumes he's still asleep, so he goes back to his bed. The main character has long wanted to lose weight and start running, but he never got around to taking real action until his death. He thought that he would start tomorrow or on Monday. But since life gave him another chance, he should take full advantage of it. John very enthusiastically begins his run, slowing down and slowing down. It seems to him that he is about to die again. After coming to a complete stop, he noisily falls to the ground, exhausted from running, but the distance is only 100 meters. Lying on the ground, he says that the experiment failed. He is already too fat. Now for him, running is something beyond the pale. The girl appears in front of him, lending a helping hand and asking if everything is okay. The main character raises his head, looking embarrassed at the lady in front of him. He replies that he feels great now. The girl helps him get up. John asks if the lady also went for a run. She says that she runs every day. The main character tells a new acquaintance that he went out for a run today for the first time. The girl grabs him and says that he continued in the same spirit. She supports the guy. The main thing is just to start and take the first step, and then it will be easier. The lady says goodbye to her new friend and tells him not to give up. He waves his hand after him and pledges not to end his training today. The main character believes that this girl is just an angel. He really liked her. John clenches his hand into a fist and promises himself that he will not give up under any circumstances. He begins to run forward. Suddenly, a new task called a walker appears before his eyes. The guy is very happy about the discovery of a new task. Now he won't have to spend $1 million. The main character closes his eyes and slowly exhales air, feeling calm and calm. To complete the task, you need to travel 10,000 kilometers. For completing the mission, you will be awarded +10 to strength, +10 to speed, and +10 to endurance. John realizes that the length of China from west to east is 4,500 kilometers, and he needs to cover this distance twice. The main character is simply shocked. Realizing these numbers, it seems to him that it is simply impossible to do this. After all, today he ran only a few hundred meters and almost died. Even if the guy regains his shape in the very near future and starts running 3 kilometers a day, it will take him about 10 years to complete the task. John remembers all the missions the system gave him, trying to establish communication. He is very outraged by all the current circumstances and says that she is simply mocking him. Suddenly, a sign appears in front of him, saying that if you don't give up, everything will come. The main character at first does not understand the meaning, then decides that there is clearly something in this. Suddenly, one important truth comes to John. This quote is the key to the answer. Only after the guy tried to start running. This task was revealed to him. If he continues to try and does not give up, then no one knows what else the system can surprise. Nothing in this world is given for nothing. If a person does not strive for anything, and does not make any attempts, then why would heaven help him? It's better to take action right now than to sit and whine without achieving anything. Suddenly, John notices that there are as many as 15 stages in this task. This is even better if the guy cannot complete the mission to the end. He will still receive rewards and level up after completing each stage. The more his endurance, strength, and speed improve, the easier and faster he will be able to complete the next stages. The main character notices an item called running equipment. He decides to find out what it means. Having opened this section, many items appear in front of him that can be useful when running, each of which gives a certain number of points. After this, the main character realizes why these glasses were needed after all. Now he only has 111 points, and you can use them to buy some things. John decides that the most important thing for him right now would be sneakers, so he clicks on them. Many characteristics of this type of shoe appear in front of him. The guy does not understand anything, but madly admires everything. It also comes with a +1 for speed. This is exactly what the guy needs to complete all tasks as quickly as possible. Suddenly, he realizes that his knees hurt like crazy. It is unknown how the hero could damage them after running only a couple of 100 meters. These sneakers are the best fit for John. Knee protection and a +1 for speed will solve half the problems. Without hesitating for a second, the main character presses the buy button. Various sparks hover near him, and surprise at what he sees is visible on the guy's face. Suddenly, he decides to look around to see if anyone is nearby. Having checked everything, John calmly exhales and rejoices, because otherwise he could have become another hero of some local blog. He looks at his palms and is surprised at the size of the sneakers he just bought. Apparently this is another joke of this system. The sneakers already seemed ideal to the guy. Suddenly blue sparks appear in front of him and envelop his legs. Although the new thing looks almost the same as the previous pair, the feeling is completely different. Even all the sweat had been absorbed somewhere. It was like they had put pillows on John's feet. The main character smiles contentedly, thinking that he is now incredibly comfortable. He decides that he should walk a little to test the functionality of his new pair of shoes. John sees the distance, usage time, stride length, and calories. This really surprises the guy. The main character decides that now he can run the whole 1 kilometer. It accelerates and begins its movement, control, and measurement processes are launched. The system has detected critical errors in the wearer's movements and asks whether forced adjustments should be applied. Without a moment's doubt, the main character agrees to the forced corrections. The system applies forced adjustments to the wearer's movements. He begins to move unnaturally. After the changes, the guy feels like his legs are a little stiff. Although this is not entirely comfortable, he already feels a noticeable reduction in the load on his knees. The speed increases noticeably. The wearer of the new sneakers reaches the mark of 500 meters. Running 800 meters, the main character becomes noticeably more difficult to breathe. He slowly exhales air and repeatedly. The guy decides that he can't do it anymore, even though he now has the miracle of sneakers. But his body is not yet ready for such loads. Exhausted from running, he decides that training will be over for the day. Suddenly, John remembers the words of his new acquaintance, after which he realizes that he won't give up so easily. Because if he continues to stay in his comfort zone, then girls like her will remain out of reach. The guy set a goal to run 1 kilometer, which means nothing will stop him. The sneakers report that the wearer ran 1 kilometer. The route took 20 minutes, and about 500 calories were burned, approximately equal to 2 chicken wings. John learns that after completing a goal, his soul feels very good. He had not noticed this before. The time is approaching 6 o'clock in the evening. Julia relieves everyone from classes. Noodles tells his friend that he will never in his life guess what he dreamed about. The guy suggests that the dream could have been a mobile game. A friend denies the assumption and says that he dreamed that Batten got up for a run. This sounds like the beginning of a joke. The main character says that it was all not a dream at all, because he really went outside this morning. The teacher interrupts them and calls John's name so that he pays attention to her. He looks at her with confusion and asks what Julia wants. The woman offers him lunch. Today's dinner will be at her expense. Noodles goes into shock. The witch invited his friend to dinner. He couldn't have heard wrong. The main character smiles widely, agreeing to go to lunch with the teacher. Students sitting in the audience begin to whisper after hearing this dialogue. The guy returns to the hostel at 15 minutes past 12. Noodles looks at his friend with suspicion. He came in tired and was all sweaty. The friend said nothing, looked exhausted, and then immediately went to the shower. Although his version sounds too exotic, apparently, it is not so far from the truth. The guy knows that their witch is completely fucked up. He's not even surprised that she has such a perverted taste in guys. Coming out of the bathroom, John wrapped towels around his waist. But suddenly something distracted his attention. Noodles jumps on him, asking him to tell the absolute truth after his question. He asks his friend if they had something with their common teacher. The main character, with a sharp movement, removes his friend's hand from his shoulder. With no place left for him to rest on, the noodle begins to fall right onto his friend. Their faces are very close to each other, which makes both of them incredibly shy and embarrassed. It was at this moment that a guy named Edward, who is their common neighbor, returns to their room. Seeing this, he apologizes, assuming that he disturbed the guys and is about to leave the room. Noodles tells Edward that he will explain everything right away. In fact, everything is not at all as it might seem. The guy hugs his friend and says that love does not have a specific gender. If it exists, then it has the right to exist. He thinks that they should be shy, they just need to be themselves. Edward is even happy for his friends. Out of aggression, John grabs his neighbor by the collar and asks him to listen to them and not interrupt. Noodles talks about all his assumptions about the witch and his friend. He wanted to ask him about what happened, but his neighbor came in. The main character understands how ambiguous everything he says sounds, so he simply shows his class. Edward is trying to comprehend everything the guys just said, how Batten could have met their teacher. He is completely shocked, because he thought that his friends were just gays, but here it turns out that a completely different situation has developed. John sighs and says that his friends don't understand anything, because the meeting turned out differently. In fact, Julia called him just to eat. She wanted to make amends for being biased and unreasonably accusing him of being careless. She really liked her report and decided to show him a book that required illustrations. The guys cross their arms over their chests and say they don't believe a word. With a straight face, John hands his acquaintances a book called The 1,000-Year Dream. The guys are shocked when they see the book, because this is a new novel by a very popular author. Edward says that John has no idea how cool this is. The writer is a modern goddess of novels. He adores her. Noodles adds that he heard that she has already dismissed a bunch of artists. She doesn't like anyone. If he gets in, then his friend won't have time to play mobile games with him. The main character thinks that this is a great opportunity, and he would like to try to do something useful during his extracurricular time. He can't play games all the time. A friend asks him to confess what kind of relationship he has with the teacher on the one hand. She treats him more strictly than the others. On the other, she cares about him. The guy explains that they don't have any special relationship. It's just that his mother was her teacher. So he's known Julia since childhood. Edward is surprised that John's mother was a witch's teacher. It turns out that she is also a difficult woman. Maybe he is the son of a successful artist. And again, the guys don't know what they came up with. He's just an ordinary fat guy. Noodles says that he shouldn't slander himself if he loses a little weight. He'll be able to star in cool films. John smiles widely and says he thinks so too, clenching his hand into a fist. That's why he decided to run every day in the mornings and evenings. Even today after dinner, he ran 2 kilometers, which is why he came back sweaty and tired. The friend doesn't believe that this is true, because it's hard to expect something like that from John. The guy shows his friends his phone with an activity log, where it says that he ran 3.5 kilometers today. Noodles asks him if he's upset because of the comments. He shouldn't take it to heart. The main character asks not to worry about him. He runs carefully. It would not hurt him to lose weight. And he says goodbye to his friends and says that he needs to go to bed quickly because tomorrow he will go jogging again. The guy decides that he will prove to everyone that he is capable of much and will also achieve his goal no matter what. In a dream, the main character is running a relay race, facing many obstacles. He jumps over each of them. The obstacles are written with insults and words that John was called. Having reached the end of the relay and having passed all the tests, he stops in place, breathing heavily. At the end of the road, he meets the angel he has dreamed of for so long. The girl holds out her hand to him and is glad that he has finally caught up with her. Suddenly, the guy is woken up by the alarm clock. He needs to get up in order to go for another run. The main character gets up, realizing that it was just a dream, but is not upset at all. Last night, when the guy went outside, he didn't see the girl at the stadium. He brushes his teeth, gets dressed, and gets ready to go out in the hope that he will see her today. Hearing the front door close, Noodles opens his eyes slightly. Suddenly, he realizes that his friend is up running again so early. Arriving at the stadium, John realizes that apparently the girl did not come to train today again. On the other hand, perhaps this is for the best. The guy's form does not allow her to be impressed yet. It's better to meet her when the main character becomes thinner so that her jaw drops. The system reports that critical errors have been identified, offers to make forced adjustments. John says that he has already understood how to place his foot and bend his knees. He decides that he will control his movements. The program agrees with him. Now, no critical errors have been found. The guy should continue moving. The main character feels better because now he copes with everything himself. The system reports that the hero ran 2 kilometers. The route took 20 minutes. The average time to cover 1 kilometer is 13 minutes. John realizes that he broke his yesterday's record. Now he has the strength for the 3rd kilometer. Suddenly, a silhouette runs past the main character and he slows down. This is the girl he saw yesterday. She greets him and is happy to meet him. She says that the guy is progressing very quickly. She barely managed to recognize him. The girl says that every day he runs better and better. John explains that today it is much easier for him to run than yesterday. She asks if the guy played professional sports before he gained weight. After all, he holds his body flawlessly and places his feet just like an athlete. Deep down, the main character is incredibly happy because he has watched many videos on the internet about how to run. He is incredibly happy and glad that the girl he likes praises him. Yesterday, John looked tired after only running 200 meters, and today he continues to run after 2 kilometers. She has never seen people who progress so quickly. The main character wants to ask her some question without having time to finish. The girl asks him to continue in the same spirit, but she should speed up. The guy wanted to know her name, because these